What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about the top 10 attributes within FM23, what I consider to be the top 10 attributes, and how if you can somehow find a way to have all of them on a player, you basically have the perfect world beater of a player on your hands. So if you guys happen to enjoy today's video, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so why not hit that sub button. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So the first attribute that I'd like to highlight really isn't an attribute at all, especially one that you personally can affect through training, as it's height. Height, we don't have any control over. New gens, sometimes they become pretty tall, sometimes they don't really grow at all. But overall, having height on your side really helps. Now, players that really have a big time effect for height and definitely like to have height on their side, strikers, and Erling Haaland is a perfect example of that. Yes, Erling Haaland is absolutely incredible, but being 6'5" definitely helps. And another striker who has always had height on his side, and it has really helped him throughout his career, is Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Players that have size find ways to utilize it to their advantage. Yes, they may be slower, such as Zlatan now, but he is 40, so keep that in mind. But having height on your side is a big time advantage, whether it's up front or even in the back. One side that we're seeing that come to fruition in reality this year on how important size can be is with Newcastle United. Newcastle United's back line, aside from Kieran Trippier or Matt Target, they're giants. You got Dan Burn at 6'7", Fabian Schär at 6'2", and then I believe Sven Botman is like 6'4" or 6'5", and then their goalkeeper Nick Pope, he is also a giant. So having size on your side is definitely going to help, and is an attribute that, while you may not be able to affect it, is a big time help on your side, whether it's up front, in midfield, out wide, because if you have it out wide, those players can cut in and score on headers. It's a big time plus to have within your teams. The next attribute that I want to talk about is one that goes with a saying: teamwork makes the dream work. And teamwork is the attribute that we're going to be talking about because it is monumental this year within FM23. If you end up having a player that is like Thomas Muller, that can play a variety of different positions but has incredibly high teamwork of, I would say, anywhere from 14 to 20, which Thomas Muller is 20, they're going to be able to execute any single thing you may need of them, whether it is to play well off the ball, play well on the ball, just be smart overall, help include teammates in the build-up play. They are going to be influential on your side. And teamwork, which a lot of people may not actually realize just by hovering over it, the attribute reflects how the player can follow tactical instructions whilst working for and alongside his teammates. So it's not specifically tied to, okay, how well is he going to play with people, how well is he going to get along with people. It is, okay, how well is he going to follow the instructions that I've implemented within my tactics, while also making sure that he is performing to the best of his ability, not only for himself but for his teammates as well. And having teamwork is a big time help within sides. The next one I would like to talk about, which actually we're going to be staying at one club to talk about these three attributes because three of their players are perfect examples of all of them actually. The first one of these three that we're going to be talking about, though, is first touch. First touch is, in my opinion, probably one of the most underrated attributes this year within FM23. I have seen it in action within the match engine, and it is just absolutely unbelievable what players who have a great first touch ability are able to do. Now, a player that exemplifies, not only in reality but within FM, a great ability of having first touch is Neymar. Neymar is absolutely incredible, having 18 first touch. Messi is 19. Not sure what Mbappe has. We'll find that out shortly. But having first touch at a very high level, I would say 14 is the bare minimum that you would want for first touch. If the player is a playmaker, if they're a winger, if they are a striker, you definitely want them to have a decent level of first touch because it allows them to have the ball, play it into them, and they are just magic with it immediately. and whether they are taking first time shots, if you're playing tiki taka one touch passes, or even if they try killer balls often and hit it that first time, it is going to be absolutely integral that they have a good first touch ability. Which leads me into the next attribute that I want to talk about, and that is passing. And one player that has incredible passing is none other than Lionel Messi, having 19 passing. He's an absolutely incredible playmaker that we have seen throughout his career, and he is in FM as well. Yes, Neymar had great passing also, but Messi has 19 first touch, which is one higher than Neymar, and he has a higher ability of passing, which you pair those two together, and you have already, if you pair in vision and technique as well with that, which we'll be talking about one of those later, you have the perfect playmaker on your hands. If you have a player that has at minimum 14 in those 4 areas, you are going to have an absolute world beater of a playmaker on your hands. I mean, Lionel Messi, he's shown it in reality, and within FM, he is very, very hard to lock down because of his first touch and passing, and that he can just break you down whenever he wants to because of being great in those 2 areas. And then the last part of that trifecta that will really help make those 2 attributes perform even better is if they're on someone like Kylian Mbappe, who possesses 18 first touch, 15 passing, so right above the bare minimum that I said. But pace-wise, if you possess both and have incredible pace, you are going to just toy with your opponent. And he has all 3, especially with having 20 pace, being one of the fastest players within FM, one of the fastest players in the world. He's going to be able to execute all of it to an elite level. And if you have players that are at a level like Mbappe, they're obviously going to be able to perform at an elite level with these attributes and make them look even more insane than they are, because they are all insane attributes. They are part of this top 10 for a reason. And even if it's, say, 14 first touch, 14 passing, but like 16, 17 in pace or acceleration, they are still going to be able to dominate whatever league you may be in. Now, the next attribute that I want to talk about is one that we have kind of all known is pretty important, and coming in at number 5, it shows how important it is in this top 10. It is strength. Strength is absolutely key to having, in my opinion, a great back line, especially the 2 center backs, and a striker. If you can have strength in those 2 areas, you are golden. Or if you are playing a 4-3-3 or just any tactic that implements defensive midfielders, having strength there as well is very important. And a player that I would like to help highlight how important it is Mr. Victor Boniface here at USG in Belgium. He has 18 strength for that attribute, and he is absolutely amazing, because in my save that I've been doing with USG, the things he was able to do with having 18 strength is absolutely incredible. He can just bully people off the ball and make sure that he not only holds on to the ball, but finishes any chance that he may be able to have, because he has, guess what, one of those attributes that we just spoke about in 15 first touch. So if you can kind of pick some of these attributes and combine them to find like a trifecta to make players and your team perform to an incredible level, that is going to be absolutely game changing for you. But strength comes in at number 5 as being one of the most important attributes you can have in a player, because like I said, it's not only important to have it up front or as a defensive midfielder, but in the back as well, because if you have central defenders that can defend super well and lock down their opponent and bully them off the ball while being smart enough not to concede cards, you're going to have a stellar defense. Next up, we have an attribute that is named after a Marvel superhero, and that is Vision. Now, I know it's not actually named after the Marvel superhero, but Vision is a very important attribute to have. And one player that excels in that area of the game big time is Mr. Kevin De Bruyne. Whether it's within FM or in reality, the passes that you see him make are absolutely amazing, because having passing, good first touch, and vision all together coincides to meaning that you are an absolutely insane playmaker. If you can have players that if you can put vision with first touch, and if they may not have that 14 minimum of passing, they're still going to excel at an incredible rate. If you have it to where the passing is higher than the first touch, but that vision's still up there along with the passing, same thing is going to happen there. Having vision within your side, no matter where the player may be, is going to be important, because vision is not all about playmaking. Because what vision basically breaks down to, and what the description is when you hover over it, this attribute reflects player's ability to see a potential opening and spot an opportunity another player may not have seen. So if you like implementing the Raumdeuter role within your side, they're going to be able to utilize their vision to see an opportunity arise for themselves or for their teammate, to where, okay, I'm going to get into the space, receive the ball, and then play it back to them, because they may not have seen that opportunity. Or I'm going to run into this space, receive the ball, and take a shot, because they may not have seen that opportunity. So vision is very, very important, because it's almost like if you combine good vision with off the ball, it's like having a superpower on a player. Now, for attributes number 3 and number 2 on this list, we're actually going to stay on Kevin De Bruyne and talk about him, because he has both of them, as well as he is a world-class player, so obviously he's going to have very good attributes. But those 2 attributes, the first one is decisions. If you make good decisions as a player, you are going to end up being on a very successful team and having a very successful career. Now, the other attribute is concentration. If you're able to concentrate and have good decisions, you are going to be one of the most sought after people within the game and within the world of football. Hence why Man City made sure that they went out and got him, because they knew what levels he could get to, and he already had a decent level of both in his game when he was at Wolfsburg. So if you have players that are able to have good decision making, are very good with their concentration wherever they may be on the pitch, you are going to have very few mistakes made. And that is why Man City are so darn good, because they have players such as Kevin De Bruyne who excels big time in those 2 areas. All right, so the attribute that I deem and feel to be the most important within FM this year, which there may be some controversy around, a lot of these attributes, but just know, if you have all these and one player or multiple players are just within your side, you're going to be very successful. But coming in at number 1 is one that goes along with a saying that I absolutely love. Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And that goes along with the attribute of work rate. Work rate is absolutely vital to players this year, because if you have players that are going to have great work rate and outwork your opponent the entire 90 minutes, you are going to win a heck of a lot of games. Now, one player that has a high work rate is Mr. Declan Rice here. He has 17 work rate. Yes, it's not 20 like Kevin De Bruyne and Messi have had some of those, and Thomas Muller did as well, but he has a very high level of work rate, and that is why he is one of the most sought after players within FM, and right now, especially within the world of football, because he exemplifies that within reality as well. Now, as you can see, he also has great decisions and great concentration. He also has good passing. Like I've been saying, if you can kind of put a couple of these together, that player for you is going to be absolutely game-changing. And having a high work rate will guarantee you success, because your players are going to outwork the opponent. Yes, they may not be absolute world beaters, but they will 100% of the time outwork your opponent and make sure that they're doing everything possible to help your team get the 3 points. And what is nice about it is that what I've found out with obviously doing testing to figure all this out is that work rate, even if it is as low as 13, sometimes even 12, the player will outwork almost anyone on the pitch. Now, obviously that is on the much lower end of things. And if you have a player like Declan Rice who has the 17 work rate, then they are going to just be an absolute nuisance against your opponent. I actually played in a draft recently where I kind of focused on having work rate as one of my more important attributes, and I got to the semifinals of it, and it was absolutely vital in getting my team there, because yes, they may have not been the best players, but being that they had a high work rate, they were outworking their opponent every single match. And that is what you want to do. You want to outwork your opponent every single match to guarantee you points and make sure that you are adding more and more trophies to that cabinet. So that about wraps things up in today's video. Let me know down in the comments below what attributes you deem and feel are the most important for yourself within how you like to play, and how you have had experiences this year within FM and just been like, wow, that attribute makes that player very, very good. But if you guys happen to enjoy today's video, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so I hit the sub button. And until next time, have a good one. Bye-bye.